Hello students, welcome back for the part 8th session of capital gains chapter under income tax subject for final year BCom students. In the previous sessions we have learned how to solve the illustrations under capital gain along with the exemptions. In today's sessions we are going to solve some more 14 marks related illustrations. Let us start with the first illustration. Srimati Megha provided the following information about the sales of the properties during the year ending 2019-20. First asset is residential house at Bangalore, which was inherited by her father in 1980. Fair market value on 1/4/2001 was 1,50,000. Index number for that is 100. The cost of improvement made during the year 2007-8 was 25,000. Index number for that is 129. She sold this house for rupees 50 lakhs and incurred the expenses of transfer rupees 45,000 on 12/1/2019. She purchases another house on 2 February 2019 for rupees 5 lakh. The second asset is jewellery costing rupees 2,50,000 was sold for rupees 4,75,000 in May 2019, which she has acquired in June 2009. For that, index number is 148. The third asset is agricultural land in Hassan, purchased in 1988-89 for rupees 1,75,000. There will be no index number for this. Has been sold for 45 lakhs on 1/9/2018. For that also there will be no indexation. You can refer the index number for 2018-19. It will be 280. Paid brokerage rupees 25,000. She purchased another agricultural land in Hassan for rupees 5 lakh on 10/10/2018. Next we have household furniture purchased on 1/1/2001 for rupees 75,000 was sold for rupees 1 lakh in March 2019. Machinery WDV 1/4/2018 was rupees 1,82,000 was sold on 12/12/2018 for rupees 1,50,000. Compute her income under the head capital gain for the assessment year 2019-20. So in this illustration we have 5 assets. So for those 5 assets we are supposed to consider, and taxpayer is Srimati Megha. And the first asset we have a residential house, second we have jewellery, third we have agricultural land, and fourth asset we have household furniture, and fifth asset we have machinery. So these 5 assets we need to take, and we need to make columns for each asset. As you can see here, I have given the heading and also 5 assets column, and also the format which I have also entered in the similar manner. The first we are supposed to find out on these 5 assets which asset is exempted from the capital asset category. First you can see here agricultural land in Hassan they have specified. If the agricultural land in village or if the agricultural land in rural area, if they specify like that, we can exempt it, but they have mentioned in Hassan, so it will come under municipal limits. That is the reason I am taking. Residential house and jewellery will also come under capital asset category, but household furniture, as they have mentioned, furniture is a movable asset. If that movable asset which is used for personal, household is nothing but the personal usage, that will be exempted. Machinery will be taken as it is, as they have not said anything about that. As I have mentioned, exempted for household furniture because it is used for personal and it is also a movable property. So other than that, all other assets we are supposed to consider, and we need to find out for each asset which will come under long term or short term. First is residential house, which is purchased in 1980. They have not given purchase, but it is came through her father. We need to take that date only because they have not given any other date. Sale is on 12/1/2019. So consider from that day to that day whether it is more than 2 years or less than 2 years. As you can see, it is long term capital asset. So jewellery which is purchased in 2009 and which is sold in 2019. So you need to check more than 3 years or less than 3 years. You can easily say it is more than 3 years. It will be also long term capital asset. Then we have agricultural land. This will come under land and building category. So it is purchased in 1988-1989, which is sold on 1/9/2018. You need to check more than 2 years or less than 2 years. So it is also more than 2 years. That is the reason it will be long term capital asset. And lastly we have machinery. machinery will come under the category of depreciable assets, because machinery has the value, it will decrease in the future. That is the reason these kind of assets will be considered as depreciable assets. If it is a depreciable assets, no need to check the dates, you can easily go with the short-term capital asset. So all the decreasable value of assets will be considered as depreciable assets. Those depreciable assets will be treated as short-term capital asset. As you can see, I have mentioned short-term capital asset. For that, we are not going to take any indexations. So let us start with the first one, residential house. Always we are going to start from the sale value. In the illustration for residential house, we have a sale amount of 50 lakhs. So she sold this house for rupees 50 lakhs and incurred expenses also. In order to make that sales, they have incurred some expenditure, that is 45,000. Let us take these two values. Sale is 50 lakhs, expenses on that is 45,000. Deducting that, we'll get an amount of rupees 49,55,000. Now let us take indexed cost of acquisition, as it is long-term capital asset. First, let us check whether it is purchased before 2001 or after 2001. As they have mentioned, it is 1980, definitely it will be purchased before 2001, but they have not given the value of purchase. What they have originally purchased, they have not given, only they have given fair market value amount on 2001, that is 1,50,000. So we need to take that only if they have not given original cost. So let us take that. As you can see in the working note, purchase cost is nil, but fair market value is 1,50,000. Whichever is the higher I need to take, divided by 100 into 280, I'll get 4,20,000. Then I need to go with the improvements. Here one improvement it is there, which is done after 2001. Then we can calculate it. 25,000 divided by 129 into 280. So as the improvements which is done after 2001, we can calculate, we'll get an amount of 54,264. So after taking that amount in the column, we need to deduct those two amounts from the net sale consideration. We'll get 44,80,736. Let us check whether we have exemption or not. So she has purchased new investment. She has done some new investment. She purchased one more house. As the purchase is house property and also sale is house property, so both house properties came together, then we can take under exemption 54 section. For that I need to take the amount of 5 lakh. So date is also in stipulated time only. So it will come under 54 section. For that we need to calculate 5 lakh, that is the investment amount, compare with the gross capital gain, whichever is the least, that is 5 lakh. So we are supposed to take that and deduct it from the gross capital gain. We'll get 39,80,736. Now let us start with the second one, that is jewelry. So first, always we are supposed to take the sale amount 4,75,000. We don't have any other expenditure on sales, and the realization expenses will be nil. Total net sale consideration will be 4,75,000. Let us take the index cost of acquisition. It is purchased after 2001. As you can see, it is purchased in 2009. For that we need to take the cost of purchase, that is 2,50,000 is the cost of purchase, divided by 148 into 280. We'll get an amount of rupees. As you can see in the working note I have done, you will get an amount of 4,72,973. And we need to check whether we have any improvements. In that illustration we don't have any improvements for jewelry. So total will be 2,027. Exemption, they have not done any new investment for jewelry. So in this illustration they have given new investment for particular assets. So we don't have any new investment for jewelry, that will be nil. So let us go with the third one, agricultural land. So as it is in Hassan, we can take it as long-term capital asset. So the sale amount is 45 lakh. They have paid brokerage also, that is the selling expenses, 25,000. If you deduct both of that, you will get 44,75,000. Let us consider index cost of acquisition. It is purchased on 1988-89. So it is before 1/4/2001. On that day they have purchased with the value of 1,75,000. But in the illustration they have not given fair market value as on 1/4/2001. So we have only cost. In the first we have only FMV, but here we have only cost. So I have taken cost value 1,75,000 or nil. So divided by 100 into 280, you will get 4,90,000. So let us check, do we have improvements? So we don't have any improvements here, so it will be nil. If you deduct that, you will get 39,85,000. So next we need to go with the exemption. In this asset, she has purchased one more agricultural land. So here purchase is also agricultural land, sale is also agricultural land. So if both are agricultural land, it will come under section exemption under section 54B. So purchase amount is 5 lakh. 54B, you can see in the working note, 5 lakh is the investment amount or capital gain amount, whichever is least will be 5 lakh. So I'll get amount of 34,85,000. And lastly, I need to take a machinery which is sold on 12/12/2018 for 1,50,000. We don't have any expenditure on sales. 1,50,000 will be the net sale consideration. Then I need to check index cost of cost of acquisition, because it won't apply any index. If they have given WDV value, we need to take that only. If they have given both purchase cost as well as WDV value, take the WDV value only. So I need to take 1,82,000. Improvements will be nil. I'll get a negative value. If it is negative value, exemptions will be nil, even though if they have made new investment. So total amount will be 32,000 as negative, that is loss. So if it is loss, we need to make a total. You can see here I have made it net capital gain. I have added all the incomes and I have deducted with the negative value. I got the capital gain amount of rupees 74,35,763. Let us start with one more illustration. Mr. X submits the details of assets sold for the year ending 31/3/2019. First we have shares, which is purchased in April 2001 for rupees 54,000, sold on 15/12/2018 for rupees 95,000. Secondly, on 1/4/2001 he agreed to sell jewellery to Y for rupees 2,70,000, which was purchased in 1977 for rupees 1,50,000. However, the sale could not be effected as Y backed out. He forfeited the advance of rupees 20,000 which he received from Y. He now sold the jewellery on 15/7/2018 for rupees 13,10,000 and incurred rupees 20,000 as selling expenses. In 2017, he purchased a small residential house for rupees 2,50,000. Third one is debenture, purchased in September 2013 for rupees 50,000, sold on 31/12/2018 for rupees 45,000. Fourth one, sold his motor car, purchased in August 2011 for rupees 1,50,000, on 15/3/2018 for rupees 1,60,000, which is sold and which is used also for personal use, and we have the index numbers for particular years. First, we should know how many assets they have given in the illustration. So the taxpayer or the assessee is Mr. X, and the assets they have already given, one is shares, and second asset they have given in the illustration, that is jewellery. Then the third asset they have given debentures, and the fourth asset they have given motor car. So in these four assets we need to check which assets are exempted. So after that we need to make that entire column as exempted asset. So first asset will come because the shares, then second asset will also come, even the jewellery is used for personal. Debentures also will come, and the last one you can see they have also mentioned his motor car. If it is used for personal use, then it will be exempted, because motor car is a movable property which is used for personal, then it will be exempted. We are not supposed to take it. So let us put that entire column as exempted. Then you can see I have made an heading, then 4 columns for 4 assets, and last column will be exempted because the movable property which is used for personal. So for all other assets we need to find out whether it is long-term capital asset or short-term capital asset. First one is shares, which is purchased in 2001 and which is sold in 2018. As they have not mentioned whether it is listed or unlisted, you can check the date itself. It is definitely more than 2 years. It will be also long-term capital asset. Second is jewellery, which will come under other assets. So which is purchased in 1977, which is sold in 2018. So definitely it will be more than 3 years only. So you can easily say it is long-term capital asset. Then we have debentures. The debentures which is purchased in 2013 and which is sold in 2018. So you need to check on 1 year. So it is more than 1 year only. So long-term capital asset. Let us start with the first asset. We are supposed to take the shares. For that we need to check the sale value, which is the amount of 95,000. We don't have any expenditures on the sale, so you can take the amount of 95,000 in sale. Realization expenses will be nil. Net sale consideration 95,000. So next we need to take index cost of acquisition as it is purchased after 2001. So as they have not given the date particularly in which day, you can take it as after 2001, that is 54,000. So you can consider 54,000. For that year index number is 100, you need to multiply with 280. 54,000 divided by 100 into 280. You can see in that working note which I have done. You will get an amount of 1,51,200. So you can we don't have any improvements in the shares, so you will get a capital loss. If it is capital loss, there will be no exemption even though if they have given. So again I'll get net capital loss. The next asset is jewelry. This asset sold in 2001 itself, but the sale activity doesn't completed fully. That is the reason this asset is sold in 2018 one more time. So as you can see, the sale amount is 13,10,000. For that they have also done some expenditures in order to make sale, that is 20,000 as selling expenses. Let us take those two. 13,10,000 minus 20,000, you'll get 12,90,000. Then I need to take indexed cost of acquisition. So while taking indexed cost of acquisition, it is purchased in 1977 with the amount of 1,50,000, and they have not directly given the fair market value as on 1/4/2001, but they have given one hint information, that is as on 1/4/2001 he agreed to sell the jewelry to Y for rupees 2,70,000. So one contract has made in order to make sale on that day. So on that day the market value of that jewelry is 2,70,000. That means the fair market value. So on that day whatever the market value is there, that will be the fair market value on 2001. So I need to compare with 2,70,000, whichever is the higher I need to take. And also the Y backed out due to some reasons. The contract has been cancelled, the sale couldn't happen, but he has given some advance money, that is 20,000. So that advance money which will be kept by the Mr. X only. So that advance money which he couldn't give back to Y, that is the reason he kept that advance money with himself. That advance money we are supposed to deduct from the purchase. First we need to compare those two amounts, then we need to deduct the amount, then you need to divide with 100 and you need to multiply with 280. As you can see in the end, 1,50,000 or 2,70,000, whichever is higher, 2,70,000. So minus 20,000 which is advance money, you will get 2,50,000 divided by 100 into 280. So we'll get 7 lakh. Then we need to check whether we have any improvements. In this we don't have any improvements, it will be nil. Totally you'll get 5,90,000. Let us check whether we have any exemption or new investment. In this, in 2017, he purchased a small residential house for rupees 2,50,000. New investment is residential house and the sale is jewelry. So jewelry I can take it as any long-term capital asset. So purchase is residential house. If you see this, any long-term capital asset sale, purchase is residential house property, which will come under 54F. So that is the exemption under section 54F. It will come. Any long-term capital asset can be sold. Purchase should be residential house. So that condition is satisfied. Time limit is also within stipulated time. You need to check the first condition, whether the investment amount is more than its sale consideration or less than its sale consideration. If it is less than its sale consideration, I need to use the formula, that is 5,90,000. That is gross capital gain divided by net sale consideration, that is 12,90,000 into new investment 2,50,000. I'll get an amount of 1,14,341 as the exemption. So you need to check the condition whether it will be more than net sale consideration or less than net sale consideration. Then you can apply the formula if it is less than net sale consideration. So 2,50,000 is less than net sale consideration. That is the reason I have used this formula. If it is more than net sale consideration, you can take directly the gross capital gain amount. So let us take the amount 1,14,341 in the exemption. If you deduct that, you'll get 4,75,659 amount as net capital gain. So next we have debentures. So debentures which is sold for rupees 45,000, and we don't have any other expenditure on sale. So let us take that 45,000. It will be nil realization expenses. While taking index cost of acquisition as it is debentures, for bonds and debentures there is no indexation. You can take the direct amount. If it is purchased after, you can take the direct amount. If it is purchased before, you need to compare and you need to take whichever is higher. So as it is after 2001, so we are not supposed to use indexation. Total amount will be 50,000. So net capital gain, we are going to get a loss amount, that is 5,000. There will be no exemption and I'll get the net capital loss only. So we need to do the total of all these three. So I'm taking the positive value first and the other two negative values. For the amount of 4,75,659 minus with 56,200 minus with 5,000, I'll get total net capital gain as 4,14,459. Follow step-by-step procedure, then the illustration will be simple and you can easily solve. Only thing, you need to remember some of the exemptions. I hope you guys have understood these two illustrations which I have solved. So I'm giving two more illustration for you guys to solve it. So solve this illustration along with one more illustration. You can see this now. If you are having any doubts, please mention in the comment section, and thank you for watching.